I have created these both journal twins that I would like to share with you today. These both journals will go to two very special junk journal friends. We are going to have a meeting here at my tiny house at the Plansee in Austria. And the special thing about this meeting is that we've never met in person before. So we are only knowing each other until now from social media. And this is a very special thing. And I'm so happy that they could finally manage it to visit me here. And because of this thing, that this meeting will be very, very special, I've thought about two journals that I would like to gift to them. And I thought, how can I manage that? I mean, have you ever created two journals at the same time for two different people that you have seen at the same time? I mean, I didn't want to make two journals that are totally different, but of course I didn't want to make two exactly the same journals. So I came to the idea to use exactly the same materials for both of these journals, but to arrange them slightly different from each other. That means the cover, as you can see, of each of those journals is a little bit different, but it is made out of the same materials, and the same is the fact for the inside and the pages. So I would like to tell you something about this, and especially something about the cover that I have made with some special die cuts, as you can see. So this is a very dimensional cover. Hopefully my camera can catch that. These flowers are die cuts that I have used, and this was a very special coincidence on a craft fair that I have visited a few weeks ago. I was in a German town that is called Heilbronn, and I was at a small craft fair there, and I have seen these flowers on a table and I immediately fall in love with them. I have never seen something like this before, especially not as a die cut. So I came in contact with the woman who was at this table there and who was selling these flowers, and she has told me that she has had the idea for this special die cut by herself. So the brand is called Farbtonpapier. That's a German brand. I will link everything down below for you if you want to check that out. And when you buy such a die cut to make such a flower, you will get those tiny pieces here. Looks a little bit strange on the first glance, I know. So this is made for one flower, this is made for another flower, and this is a third design of those flowers. There are very different designs. You can see these are also different in the size, and you can create different flowers by yourself, made out of different colored papers or something like that, patterned paper. You can stamp to them and everything. And when you have cut this out, you need several pieces of the same die cut. So for example, you will use this one, then the instruction says how many of those you will need for one of those flowers here. Cut that out from a paper of your choice, and then you have to fold and glue them together so that you get these weird shapes here that looks very, very strange in the beginning. You can also clamp that with a paper clip. I have done that here to let them dry, because you have to glue them together. There are many instructions on Petra's YouTube channel, so I will link that down below for you as well, so that you can exactly see how to put that together. And then you have to take all of these single pieces here, glue them together. So here I have a half finished flower, as you can see. They are glued together, all on top of each other. Then you have this little bundle of these pieces here, and then you can fold them like this, and you have your flower. Here I've already mixed different of the designs. As you can see, this petal here is way smaller than this one, so you can also make your own variations of this if you make them as they are meant to do, or if you use only, that's a better way to say, if you use all of the same of these things, then you will get a regular shape like this. If you mix them up, you can also get an oval shape like this. And when you have glued that, you can fix that with a paper clip so that this can dry really, really well. I have additionally distressed those with some ground espresso distress oxide ink and a little sponge. And then after I have put them here to my cover with some gel medium, I have pressed those petals here on the first layer a little bit down so that they stick really, really well. So this is really sturdy. And after I have done that, I have placed these little black buttons here. I've also glued them with some gel medium. And I've used these little things here. Normally I use them to make those antennas for butterflies, but I've glued them into this little slot there. Hopefully you can see that. I've just put some of the gel medium on top of, or on the end of this thing, and then pressed it into this, and now it's really sturdy in here and you have something to touch. So the idea to put those flowers to a cover was, I would say, relatively new for Petra. I have told her that I want to try that out, and she was like, "Ooh, how can that happen?" So Petra, if you're watching this, here you can see how this is possible with your amazing die cut. And I'm really, surprised, but not surprised. It's a sturdy thing, but I'm a little bit surprised that this is so sturdy. I mean, you can press this and this will not fall off and this will not be damaged. And so that's, I think, a cool thing for such a cover. If you open the journal like this, and you have it, for example, like this, and you want to write or journal on the left side, then can you hear that? The buttons will lay on the table, and they are protecting the flower. But even if you wouldn't use those buttons, it would be a really, really sturdy thing. And I really like this dimensional feeling of this cover. So here I have also used some crackle paste, some die cuts, some lace and that stuff, and I made something like a mixed media background for those flowers. The crackle paste I have inked with some distress oxide inks and then sprayed water so that we get a really cool and interesting color combination here. For the spine, I've used this doily with some gesso. I wanted to have this really, really grungy. And also here on the back of this, I have used some crackle paste with distress oxide inks and water. And what is that? This little star. I've searched for this star, I guess, for 2 hours on my desk, and now I find it here. It doesn't belong to this cover. Sorry. So for the base, I have used a paper bag. I have cut that to size, and then I have doubled it. So this is 2 layers of paper bag. Or actually it's 4 layers if you want to know it exactly, because I have taken the paper bag, removed the handle, and then cut it into half and glued it back together so that we have, to be exactly 4 layers of paper bag here. This is really sturdy. I have sewn around here, and for the inside I have made some dyed fabric. So I have dyed that with some distress oxide inks. And if you wonder how I made these little patterns here, I have taken my iron, and while this was wet, I have pressed the iron to the fabric to get this cool effect. I've crumbled it up a little bit and then pressed the iron, lift it up, crumble it in another way, press it down, and then you get this really, really awesome pattern here. I've also stamped a little bit here to the inside of the spine. This stamping you can see in between of the signatures, because I wanted to have something in between here. I have made the signatures that they lay really, really flat. So as you can see, this is relatively flat, and we have 1 centimeter distance between each of the signatures, and I don't like if this is too plain. So that's a personal problem, I would say. So yeah, I want those both people who will get these journals to have the most flexibility and the most space that is possible in such a journal for their own creativity. So this is very plain, and I have made this with very different papers. So I have tried to, make it a little bit grungy on the one hand, very plain on the other hand, and I've tried to put my own style into it at the same time. That was not so easy. So I have included some of my own printables as well. This is the Tea Stained Butterflies printable. You can find this in my Etsy shop. I will link everything that is digitally from my shop down below in the description box for you, so that you can check that out. This set has some journaling papers and some ephemera as well. So if you want, you can check that out. And this is what we have made in the last video. I have shown you how I have used my Distress Oxide jelly prints that are also a digital item in my Etsy shop. And I have jazzed them up a little bit. This is white acrylic paint. I have shown you that in the last video, how you can customize your backgrounds for your junk journals. If you have missed that video, I will link that down below for you as well. And as I said, I have left this very plain. I have included some embellishments that I have made by myself or that other people have made for me. So this, for example, was made by Sonja, known as Elise Klatschmohn on Instagram. If you know my channel, you know we have made different collaborations and challenges together, and she has gifted this to me in a happy mail. I thought this would fit really, really well here. And I've tried to find really simple ways to make the pages a little bit more interesting. Here, for example, I have just folded this whole piece of paper a little bit so that we have this little thing here. And then I've sewn on top here so that this looks really, used and really, a little bit grungy. These things that you can see here, I've mainly made with Distress Oxide inks and water, some coffee. This is also from the Jelly Print Digitals. So as I said, I will link that down below for you, and also the video where I have shown you how you can customize this. I think this makes a really, really big difference when you put some extra medium on top of your printables. I don't know if my camera can catch that, but with the eye you can see this white acrylic paint here is very shiny compared to the matte photo paper where I have printed the rest. And I really like this combination. You will see that more extremely in a second on some other pages. I've also included some very old book pages in different languages, some vellum paper. Also, grunged up a little bit with Distress Oxide ink. This is a jelly print that I have made a long time ago. Perhaps you notice this pattern because this is part of my printable that's called The Show Must Go On. Perhaps you know this kit. We've made a very big collaboration with some YouTube artists, not only on YouTube, with some artists that are also on YouTube in the last year. And this was one of the first jelly prints that I've made to create that The Show Must Go On printable. And I had that in my stash, and I thought this color combination would fit really well here. I've used very rusty colors like oranges and reds and yellows, as you can see here, and at the same time some turquoise, shades of turquoise. So this, for example, I have made with some embossing glaze on top of the printed paper. I think that turned out really, really well. I have shown you that in the last video as well, where we have jazzed up those printables. And as I said, I've left this really, really plain. I've included some of my favorite papers. For example, this one. This is an advertisement of a soap. It's an original vintage advertisement. And I've purchased many of those years ago, I think, when I started junk journaling. This was one of the first special papers I had in my stash, and I had some of them left, and you will see those over and over again because I use those in nearly every journal where the color is matching. I'm using this, and I wanted to have this here for those both friends as well. The same with this special paper here. This is my absolutely favorite paper. This I've bought in Rome. That was also a totally happy accident, and I'm so in love with this paper, so of course I can't do anything else than put that in here. And I've also used some packaging material. This is from an IKEA package. They have this really cool paper with those little holes there. Don't know if you can see that, but you can feel it. This is, yeah, really cool. I think that's a cool background for a collage, for example. Here's the second part of this gel print, and I think this color and this color, this rusty orange and this turquoise, fits so well together. I know it's a very high contrast, a very massive pop of color, but I wanted it exactly like that, so that it is neutral, grungy, but it has this pop of color here and there, and for that I've mainly used this orange and the turquoise. This is a little tuck spot, so you can take something and tuck it here behind this little triangle. Perhaps you realize or recognize this little thing here. I have made that in the last December, where I made the Defemorember series with Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, and we've made yeah, a little prompt list, and on one day, I don't remember exactly when it was, I've created this little tuck spot thingy here with some staples and these little beads. And I thought it would be nice to have that there. It's always nice to have some pre-made ephemera. Here we have some dragonflies from an original old dragonfly book. Some scrapbooking paper that I've also grunged up here a little bit, and here with some distress oxide ink. I've also left some pages totally white so that they can yeah, do what they want with this white space. Some of you have said that they are afraid of having white paper in their journals. And I thought I would like to use more white paper, exactly because of this saying. Because I think, why is that a problem to have a white paper in your journal? I know I was the same in the past, but I think we can yeah, we can just do that. We can just use also white paper in our journals, and then later on have a white and a fresh page to decorate that. Why not? So I've included some white pages here as well. So this is one of my distress oxide dyed papers. This was a packaging paper, I guess from Amazon. I have a video how I made this as well. So I've used a stencil and some coffee and some golden paint and some heat afterwards to create this pattern from the stencil. So this is, yeah, something like this coffee dyeing technique that you know with stencils or plastic lace, where you can get this awesome pattern. I will link that video down below for you as well, so that you can check that out. And this is a very special material as well. I don't know how that is called. I was gifted that in a Happy Mail, and I think this looks absolutely excuse me, absolutely gorgeous when something else comes through these little holes of this paper. I really like that. Some packaging paper. The other part of this one here, that looks really cool. And also on the packaging paper, I guess this contrast, this is so cool. I really like that. I'm a little bit sad that I have to give these journals away, but hopefully these both ladies will be happy with them. We will see. So this is one of the oxide jelly prints as well that I have printed out, and then I have splattered here with white gesso and golden acrylic paint. This is also something that I have shown you in the last video, where I have shown you how to jazz up those papers. So as I said, that video is also linked down below in the description box. If you have missed that, you can check that out. And I've also tried to mix the papers with this different sound. This is some packaging paper as well. This is some really thin paper from a photo album, and I really like how different the sound of these papers is. This is one of my Defamramba ephemeras as well. This is a little pocket. You can flip that like this, and then here's the opening where you can put something in. I've just teared the page. So this page was originally like this. I've teared it, and then I have glued that here so that you have this little flip and two single pages now, where you can see that they belong together, but also not. Some birdies, some wallpaper here with a really cool pattern that you also can feel. This is a little bit like embossed as well, really smooth. Another jelly print, white paper. We need more white paper in our junk journals. This is also made by Sonja, known as Elise Klatschmons. She has sent me some of these really gorgeous clusters that she has made by herself out of some packaging paper, book pages, and this transparent paper and some buttons. Really cute. And yeah, I'm so excited. This is also one of the oxide jelly prints with some stamping and some white acrylic paint. And I've printed to the back side of this photo paper some of my more neutral background sets that are also from my Etsy shop. So this is the Milky Florals, that is really neutral, and you can collage, or you can even write on top of this if you want. Some braille paper here. And this is a very cool paper. This comes from a tomato packaging. A friend here from the campsite has gifted this to me. I've cut that into size. It's a little bit transparent, really sturdy. And it has this cool sound as well. This is from the Tea Stained Butterflies printable as well. Another of those oxide jelly prints. This is a little paper bag. I've left this here closed, so the other part of the paper bag is more here, and on the other side it's open, of course, but I left this here so that they both can decide if they want to cut that open to have a pocket, or if they want to have it like this to collage here or to write, or they can also cut it here to have a top-loaded pocket. So as I said, I wanted to have this very versatile and, you know, the most possible amount of things you can do. So here's the other part of the paper bag. Yeah, and here we are coming to the end. Some music sheets, of course, and this is also from the Defamramba ephemera. I've made that into a little tuck spot so that you can tuck something behind here. Yeah, so that's it. Nearly. Some of the tea stained butterflies here, and these are also all of these ledger things here that you can see here, and these old papers are all originals. So I have made no copies, but I've put the original pieces in here because I wanted them to have some original ledger from my stash that I have collected over the years. And because of that, I haven't made any copies of that. This is relatively thin paper, but they both are junk journal experts, so they can handle that, and they can use that, prepare that with some clear gesso or something like that, so that it's not too fragile and not too thin to collage or to write on it. Yeah, here we have this little mushroom embellishment that I also made during the Defemorember series. If you have missed that series, you probably think, oh, Defemorember, that sounds like December. Yeah, it's a December daily that we've made in the last year with Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. But as you can see, there are also things that are not Christmas related. So we've tried to make this series so that you can even watch it in May or June or July or whenever. So you can check that out. I have a playlist on my channel about that series. Just go to the playlist section and search for Defemorember and you will find the whole playlist with every video. So yeah, that was twin number 1. And for the second one, I've made it really similar. So perhaps we want to compare the covers. So I have 3 of those flowers here, a small one, a bigger one, and a small one. I wanted to have that in the same way on both of the covers, because I think that makes them more matchy. And for the die cuts, I have changed the colors a little bit, as you can see. I have more white here than here. No, that's not correct. I have 2 white here and 2 white here, but yeah, it seems to be a little bit more white here. I don't know why. Here we have this brownish die cut, one of them, and the other both I have here. So here's way more brown than here, so that it is a little bit more different. And this thing that goes here on top of this doily is brown here and white here to have a really, yeah, I can't say massive difference, but a visible difference. For this background collage, I've used the same pieces on every cover. This is exactly the same size like this. The structure paste, this crackle paste here and here in the background, I've added in a very, I would say, yeah, in nearly the same way, but it crackled, of course, very different. And because of the not controllable reaction of the Distress Oxide ink, the colors here are very different as well. And also here, I don't know if you can see that, it's the same Distress Oxide ink, but it reacted a little bit different. And yeah, you can see it's the same, but it's also different. And I've tried to, yeah, make that in exactly the same way, but I knew that it will come out differently, and I'm really happy with that. So for the second journal, so I will not flip through the whole thing. I just want to give you a little idea of what I did here. So I've started with the same page, or nearly the same page, as you can see here, so that you can realize when you open those journals that they are belonging together. I've also stamped 79 and 80 to these both journals, because this is number 79 that I have finished and this is number 80 of all of the journals that I have made. And then when you flip here, you can see it goes on a little bit different, but also a little bit the same. As you can see here, I've put these both smaller pages behind the first one here, and these both smaller pages behind the first one for this one, and then it goes on in nearly the same way like the other one. The order of the pages, of course, is not the same. That would be too boring for me. But if you find a page from a botanical book in this journal, you will find a botanical page in the other journal as well. If you find a jelly print in this journal, you will find another jelly print in the other journal. Of course, not the same. That makes the journals different. Perhaps you remember this turquoise jelly print that I have in the other journal. In this one, I have this yellow one. So it's a different jelly print, different colors, but the same technique that I have used on the paper. And of course, I have also the same papers. I mean, this is a packaging paper from IKEA. I have the same paper in the other journal. And that makes the journal, yeah, match the other one. The dragonfly page is a little bit different than in the other one, but it is a dragonfly page. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I have exactly the same papers like in the other journal, like this tomato paper. And yeah, I thought that is an idea to make those both journals different, but also matching each other so that you can see that they are twins. Yeah, so here we go. That's it. I will not flip through this whole thing. I just want to give you a little, you know, idea of how you can make your journals match each other, but you have at the same time two different journals. So I think this is a good way to do that. And of course, I hope you like this. And the more I'm hoping that the both people who will get this will like that. So yeah, I will stop recording now. I will edit this video so that I can upload that, and then I have to clean my tiny house here so that they will not get shocked when they are arriving. That will be tomorrow from, yeah, while I'm recording this. I know it's only one night until we will see each other. And for that, I have to be good prepared. So yeah, I hope you like this. I hope we will see the next time. Stay healthy, stay crafty. See you. Bye-bye.